Miss Markle Sparkle. Can we do it organically? When this week we were having our marketing meetings, very obviously, team said to me, come on, it's the royal wedding week, we have to do something. Why don't we do something focused around Meghan's makeup, what she likes to use, like your predictions, what she wants is going to use. And I'm just like, oh, it just doesn't work for me. Like, those of you that are getting to know me, like, I'm quite petulant. I don't like greenwashing. I don't like bandwagons, and it feels a bit like a bandwagon to me. Just so you know, if I was her makeup artist, I'd be putting a really good strong pop of gold on there. That's by the by, but that would be what I would be doing if I had her face in front of me. And some really beautiful, like, sheer foundations for those freckles to pull through. Not too much bronzer, because it tends to make your freckles look muddy. Hey, there's my prediction. Back to the plan. So we were debating it, and I was like, like, literally feeling like I had to be dragged into it. But this is what happened. I had been meaning already to do a full video on organic and natural makeup. So I want to talk about A, does it exist? B, does it work? And C, can you do everything organically and naturally in a makeup bag? And because I want to do that anyway, then I've done it well timed for the big wedding. And really what I'm going to look at in terms of wedding bits is what could we do organically for her and what couldn't we do. And in the meantime, we're going to learn what there is to know in Kirstie's head about the makeup industry. Now, if this video had been 5 years ago, so if you'd asked me this 5 years ago, it would have been near impossible to say that you could have organic and natural makeup. It just literally didn't exist. So I used to have a really, really clean skincare, really clean-ish hair care, and not at all clean makeup. The past 5 years have seen some incredible differences in the number of brands that have come out in the organic and natural market for makeup. Interestingly, not many of them are British, so they all tend to be distributed here, which does cause a few issues in terms of sometimes availability isn't always as good as you would like it to be, because a lot of them are coming out of the US. But lots and lots of brands to speak of, and now I can genuinely look at my makeup bag and say it's been greened. Other than my kryptonite, the one thing I still can't find, which is eyeliner, which matches my MAC eyeliner. So that's kind of my downfall currently in that bag. But what I want to do is I want to take all the elements of makeup. So if you were doing a full professional makeover for a special occasion, for a wedding, going completely from the beginning, from color correctors and concealers all the way through to the very end with your lips and your blush, can you stop using mainstream brands and get a green alternative? Now, one of the things I did and have been doing this week, and hated myself for it, might I add, while I was research any interviews that Meghan had given about what brands she loved, and kind of collated them together, found some that are like 15, 20 brands that she loves. And there were fair dues. There were two things in there that were natural. So she mentioned a tea tree oil, which is ultimately essential oil, very good. She could get better and maybe pick an organic version. Someone like Neal's Yard will sell an organic version of tea tree. And Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, thumbs up for her. She's allowed that one. However, all of the skincare and all of the makeup were the usual suspects. So Chanel, Dior, Charlotte Tilbury, Laura Mercier, all stunning brands as brands, but for me, ingredient lists that I just wouldn't want anymore in my life, particularly bearing in mind where makeup is, either directly on my eye virtually or on my lips and I'm going to eat it. it really is something to think about the ingredients of. And also, if you're like me and you wear lots of makeup and you wear it every day, then you literally are eating it. Now, if I hear one more piece of press this week that says, oh, Megan's wears such natural makeup, I am gonna scream. Now, the problem is it makes it sound like she's some sort of natural bunny. I think what they're really trying to say is that she wears natural colours, which she does. With her colouring, she's making great choices. So very into nude lips. She's got lots of freckles. So anyone who's got freckles, you would always be best to put like a sheer, really light foundation, kind of a serum gel type texture. Not go too heavy on blushers and bronzers, because they tend to start to look muddy, like they almost merge the freckles together. So you have to be quite sheer, and even sometimes paint some of the freckles back in. That is a really nice thing to do on a freckly skin. Now, what they're talking about is colours, the colours she likes. I can assure you, from all of the lists I've seen of makeups that she wears or makeup artists and what they say they're putting on her, they are not natural and organic products. So here's the game. Could we make them? And can we make your makeup bag organic or natural? Now, start point, there is a good side to this. Very often, particularly say in food, in skincare, when you go into the organic world, it gets more expensive. Now, the good thing is that makeup generally, most of those brands I mentioned are already expensive. And so one of the things that you don't seem to notice when you go into green makeup is you don't really get a huge price hike, because you're in relatively expensive pricings if you're using those brands that I was just talking about anyway. So that is a positive. Huge negative is where to find these brands. It is absolutely not mainstream. Organic skincare brands are starting to seep into the mainstream. So you're starting to get bits. Neil's Yard is in John Lewis. We're in John Lewis, where the spas are. Pie has gone into John Lewis. It's starting, but there is no makeup to be seen anywhere that is in the natural organic sector other than online. So at the moment, it really is an online game. And for your shopping, your kind of key ones to go to if you are UK based, and actually even globally, because most of these guys have free worldwide shipping, naturismo.com, Love Lula, and Content Beauty. They are the three main sites that you're going to have to go to. So as I go through and talk about the different makeups and the brands, they will all come from those three sites, because they're the only places I can get them as well. So go and have a look at them and go and have a look through their makeup sections. Next key point is that the brands I'm going to talk about and the brands that are on those three sites, do not presume that I am saying they are completely certified organic. You can make skincare really genuinely either 100% organic or seriously close and still get the right results out of it. The two places you still really struggle, hair, not that easy. If you want blonde highlights, you're having peroxide. And the other one is makeup. The biggest challenge really is the colour pigments. So colour pigments, a lot of it is taken from iron oxide, and currently that is still something that all of the certification boards wouldn't allow. So what you will find is that very few of these brands are certified organic. The exception to that, we will talk about Inica. This is an Aussie brand, and they do have an Australian certification on them. But predominantly, if they're on the three sites that I've just mentioned, so Naturismo, Content, and Love Lula, they will have a policy in place where they've looked at ingredients, and whilst they are not totally organic, they'll be getting as close as. People that are sending me messages, thank you. Problem is, I am like totally blind as a bat, so really not good. Hold on, let me just come a bit closer. Hey team, and thanks for my hair looking good. Thank you, Jenny Posh. You always appreciate the blow dry. Right then, so let's do this. Let's start thinking about skincare brands. No, let's not talk about skincare brands. Let's start talking about makeup brands. You know what I do most of my time. Interestingly, Pinks obviously does not have a makeup. We are only skin. And so really this isn't about me at all. This is about other people. I'm sharing some love. I want you to have a practical list by the end of this of what to go off and execute, where to go and buy these things, what to have a look at, and what to avoid, and which ones I love and which ones I'm not so in love with so far. Okay, let's go from the beginning then. Let's start thinking about the base. Now, I don't like to start with the negative, but truthfully, this part is probably one of the trickiest parts of organic makeup. What you will tend to find is that the bases tend to be quite sheer. There's not many yet that I have trialed where you get a serious coverage. And when I'm talking about serious coverage, I'm talking about like an Estee Lauder double wear type coverage. That just doesn't seem to exist yet in the organic market. And that is very difficult if you're a professional makeup artist and you're doing cover shoots and you're doing someone's face for the front of Vogue. They do struggle with that foundation part. Now, what organic is amazing at, obviously, is mineral powders. Like, the advent of mineral powders was almost one of the starts of natural makeup. Just to be aware, though, the mainstream mineral powders are not probably natural and organic like the ones that I am going to be talking about. So, a few things on my base list. Okay, who we got? Okay, let's start with the one I mentioned first. So, Inica. Inica are a mineral-based company predominantly. So their specialism is mineral bases. This is a cream foundation, so they've got cream foundations. They've also got mineral powder-based foundations. When we get to eyeshadows, they have lots of very, very dense color pigmented loose eyeshadows, and are a really good start in terms of foundation world. One of the ones I've been trialing more recently, also an Australian brand called Ira Perez. I love the branding of Ira. I've got the oat milk foundation, and this one is essentially their mineral powder. And I've been using their blushes as well, which is a rice powder base. Now, these blushes I absolutely fell in love with. The downside is you only need to slightly bang them and they crack really, really badly. And they're not brilliant. They're absolutely beautiful and the colours are beautiful, but sometimes can go slightly patchy. So I have been using it for about a year. That's how much I liked it. I've probably bought it 6 or 7 times. But I have gone on to a new brand recently, which I will tell you about soon. So bases, you're going to get slightly sheerer. They're the one place in all makeup that you're really going to have to test and sample. It's very difficult. I'm just checking my mic is still on. You have to play with them. So I would look at Inica, I would look at Ira Perez, I would have a look at Naturismo because they have a sample section and you can buy some samples. I think on there the only brand that does a foundation based sample is probably Green People and Vapor. Now the Vapor ones, I absolutely loved the texture going on, but I did find that I looked quite shiny. My personal current love, apologies for the broken kind of battered packaging, but RMS For me, this is probably your beginner starter brand. It's one of the kind of largest brands, and I love the name of this, Cover Up. Now, this is technically a concealer, but as you can see, I've been having a good old dig in there. Basically, this is what I'm using as my foundation at the moment. So, following what I would do on Meghan Markle's freckles, I myself will kind of have this, pop it under my eyes, and then really just dot around on any patches, as opposed to having to wear a full face of foundation, and then set it with a little bit of the RMS powder as well. Don't worry, I'm not going to start doing makeup. I don't think I'm some blogger. That's just... I'm not going to start doing how to recreate Meghan Markle's makeup. What I want you to know is which ones to go and buy if you want a better ingredient list. So I recently started one of my mum friends using this as well. It's different. It's a bit balmy. So those of you that are used to organic skincare and are used to balm textures, you will probably fall immediately in love with it. If you have never experienced that, then it is a slightly different kind of thing to get used to. I would just say overall, within organic, the base makeups do tend to be a little bit richer. So even if you don't use one already, you're definitely going to use or need a translucent powder to set it. And my current favourite on the translucent powder is the RMS one. Once your base and your translucent powder is on, then can the Organic Natural World deliver good blusher and bronzer? Absolutely. I actually think this is one of the things it's doing most strongly currently, both in powder forms, but also what's the word? When they're in a little pot and you smudge them around. Come on, professional makeup artist lady. Blushes. So cream blushes. Cream. That was the word I was looking for. So I mentioned my Iripiras Bondi blush I fell in love with. Seems to have disappeared off the market. I think people probably got annoyed with it breaking. Couple what I have swapped to. La Vera. Now, La Vera, alongside Dr. Hauschka and Veleda, is like the original trio of German forerunners in the natural organic market. And they have quite a full makeup range. Now, I have dipped into their So Fresh mineral powder only really recently. I wear Rose and really, really, really loving it. They are going on beautifully. It's very well priced in comparison to what I've been using before. So I think this one was $12.99. There's only a couple of shades of it. But I would definitely look at either the La Vera one. Inica have quite a lot again, as I said. I haven't tried it yet, but I was looking the other day at Zao, which I think is spelled Z-A-O, which has amazing wooden looking packaging. Bella Pierre is another one. So I have their bronzer here. Word of warning with this bronzer, beautiful colour, extraordinary depth of pigment. So you literally need to just touch a brush into it and apply it. Otherwise you will look like chocolate-cheeked Coco the Clown. So as I said, I think really the blush world is very, very strong. I don't wear much cream blush myself. I think I should try a little bit more. But lots of brands, so Kager Weiss, Tata Harper, you're seeing nice cream blushes with as well. Kager Weiss leads us nicely into our eye section. So in terms of eyes, eyeshadows are really, really doable. Again, in the greener organic market. And what I want to try and do as well is always keep telling you why. So we've dealt with the skin part. Reasons why I would seriously look at the ingredients that are going into your foundations and your bases and your powders and your blushes is that, one, they have the biggest exposure because they're on the most of you. So they've got the biggest centimeter coverage. So whatever is in them, you're getting most of that delivered to your skin and potentially going into your bloodstream. Also, in the normal skincare market, you tend to get foundations and concealers having an amazing flow over your face, which you do truthfully lose a bit in organic land, but the reason it flows so well is because they're full of silicone. So anything that says cone on the end, things like dimethicone, and they basically will start to act as pore blockers. So if you don't have amazing skin, if you struggle with bumps or lumps or spots, try and get rid of some of that silicone, because very often you'll have it in your cleanser and your moisturizer and then your makeup, and you just get layers and layers of silicone, which yes makes makeup spread nicely, but is not doing your actual skin any favors. And let's face it, the way to make makeup look incredible is to have incredible skin. That is the truth of it, really. So the other thing with powders, anything powder based, so when we're getting into your mineral and your translucent powders and maybe even eyeshadow powders, is obviously powders move around in the air quite a lot. So there is some element of breathing them in, that they go through your respiratory system. So we should be making sure that we're not breathing in potential carcinogenic compounds. Okay, so eyes. Eyes get irritated incredibly easily. So this is another reason to start looking at ingredients. Now, anyone that gets irritated eyes, that puts eye makeup on and they start to run, and they will naturally start to look at ingredients. Most of us, like me, if your eyes don't get irritated, it never worries you. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't worry you, because when you take your eye makeup off, you rub it everywhere, you turn into a giant panda, you are very likely to be getting elements of those ingredients actually going onto your eye, which, let's face it, are pretty damn precious. So, what eyeshadows would I be looking at? What brands? I mentioned Cake of Ice. Outer red, silver inner. Now, this packaging is well worth a mention. Don't get me wrong, I've been very, very impressed with the eyeshadows. I really like them. The packaging is insane. You ought to feel the weight of this. Like, as an eco goddess, I know this is probably not doing any good for the earth. As someone that loves packaging, makes me very happy. Now, the only thing I would say is that it is so supersonically clear that you're paying for packaging. It is utterly beautiful though. So it flips out like this. And you can refill the eyeshadows. So they halve in price just to buy the refill, which tells you definitely that you're paying a lot for packaging. So really you've got to gauge that one on how happy that makes you feel. Their base colour, which is called Cloud 9, which is the creamy champagne colour, is very, very good. Got a really lovely pearlized shine, if you like a pearlized shine. Those, remember, we're doing this thinking about royal weddings. Key thing, if you are having makeup for a wedding or a special occasion, particularly around the eyes, is to think about pearlized versus your clothes. So if you're in a dress that is extraordinarily shiny, you shouldn't have an extraordinarily shiny face. And also, pearlized affects cameras and light and reflection. So it is a real must that you take pictures of it. So if you try all that makeup, that you take pictures of it to see what that reflection is doing on a camera and how that looks. Also in my eyeshadow camp, Jane Iredale. So Jane Iredale is a professional brand. You'll see it mainly in salons. Not the easiest thing to get hold of. You can buy it online or you need to find a salon. But genuinely, even if I forget being green, like, these eyeshadows have literally the most amazing texture, better than anything I have used in the mainstream world. So just hands down, irrelevant of ingredients, they are just genuinely my favorite ones I have ever used to spread on someone. And if you are doing makeup on people, that's incredibly important. You can tell when you're putting eyeshadow onto a bride how that is going on. If you want some slightly better priced options, Lavera again, Bella Pierre. There's a brand called Alima, A-L-I-M-A. I haven't honestly used any of it yet, but it's on the hit list that you could have a look at. Got some powder shadows or loose powders, all good. We can get plenty of those and they really are beautiful. They work equivalently to the mainstream. What doesn't work equivalently to the mainstream is eyeliner. Pencils do. For me, pencil is a pencil, whether it's green, whether it's mainstream, is a pencil. Like, they smudge, you know that they're not going to stay in the line that they're in, whatever anyone tells you. And they give you that really lovely, subtle, smudgy kind of look. If you like big, strong cat eye lines like Kirstie likes, then this is honestly the bit where I still struggle. And I truthfully still have a MAC eyeliner in my bag. Now, interestingly, over the years of having detoxed and not using many synthetic ingredients at all anymore, I'm now allergic to matte lipsticks. I'm allergic to blushes, as I am a lot of normal makeups. The eyeliner is still okay on me, but I haven't yet found a replica for that sort of depth. Lavera is probably as close as it gets. They've got a liquid eyeliner. I use a fluid line, which is more of a kind of, it's not really got that shiny felt tip look about it. It's more like a paint. Because as you'll see from a lot of my videos and photos, I have a big kind of Cleopatra paint eye thing going on. So that one is the one where I can't give you a genuinely good answer for at the moment. I would try them if you're not an eyeliner freak like me, and if you like inordinately dark, inaudibly lockable down, not moving eyeliner, then this is the bit where organic and natural still isn't working. I will update as soon as I find one. I will tell you. Which links us to the lashes, to the mascara. I reckon I've literally now tried every mascara in the natural and organic section. Things that are really interesting about them, they wash off much better. They smell much better. Most of them are a giant pain in the ass for leaving marks. I'm not talking like a few hours later, I'm talking like 10 minutes later. And that does my head in. The only one that I don't get that with particularly, and that I like, and in honesty I would try and probably save your money and not try lots of others, go straight for this, is Dr. Hauschka. So Dr. Hauschka has two mascaras. I use the one with a very big fat brush, and I can get an equivalent look from it. I love big eyelashes, that's what I do. And I can get an equivalent look from it from any of my normal old mascaras, plus it washes off a bit better. But it is a rarity in the organic natural sector. So tread lightly in the mascara world, because you can waste a lot of money if you are not careful. Okay, what do we got left? Lip gloss. Awesome. Now you can do, again, get equivalent versions to the mainstream synthetics. Lip pencils, the brands that are selling them work really well. So I've mentioned quite a lot of brands already. More organic makeup brands that I haven't mentioned. So Organic Pharmacy, which is a skincare brand, but also have a manicure. Also has a makeup line. Estelle and Field, which is skin originally, gone into makeup. Eau de Lique, same game. I haven't used any of those ones yet, so as I do, I will give you full updates on them. In terms of my lipsticks then, I have been using Vapor lipsticks, which I really, really like. Desire is beautiful. Vapor looks like this. Packaging is lovely. This one is actually not a lipstick. This is a white trick stick, which you put in the corner of your eyes, which is fab. and wedding, a special occasion, I'd be getting a very big blob of this on the inside of Meghan Markle's eyes for the weekend, alongside with some gold to really pop out. I think gold to pop out her eyes, really highlight in the center. Looks amazing on photography. Doesn't give you an over pearlized effect, but basically makes your eyes pop. And we should all be doing that. So vapor lipsticks, and for lip glosses, still one of my favorites are Aveda. I wear a lot of the Aveda lip glosses because I react quite badly on my lips to products and ingredients now, and they seem to work really, really well for my lips. Inica have quite recently increased quite a lot of their gloss and lipstick line, and so in terms of where to start with this, people say, like, what should I go for first? The thing that's probably going to be easiest for you and you're going to feel most confident about is a lipstick, because let's face it, they're easy to wear. The thing that is probably trickiest is your base, but blush is easy and eyeshadows are easy. But a bit like if you're changing anything, I talk about this in skincare all the time, just go a step at a time. If you can get samples, try and do so. If you can get advice from people, try and do so. But remember, makeup's incredibly personal. So just because it works for somebody doesn't mean that it will work for you. So that really, so far, is kind of my updates on organic and natural. Yes, you can now get a full-on organic and natural green bag. No, it will not be as good an ingredient list as you can get in skincare, because you've still got to deal with colour pigments, iron oxides. Should I? Absolutely. Why would you be using something daily that is full of parabens, silicons, things like mascara? You have like black carbon and very high paraben levels in them, and aluminium. Just not nice things to be rubbing around one of the most precious assets you have. Can you uniform get everything to perform in exactly the same way as you can in mainstream makeup? No, not truthfully. It's still a little bit of a roller coaster. There are still certain things that the green market is better at, and some things that it's definitely not nailing yet at all in makeup. Whereas in skincare, I would say that is not the case at all. I'd say in skincare, it's flying, and formulation-wise, you can do the same as you can do in a mainstream world. Should I really think about this? Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's your wedding or not, whether it's a special occasion or not, basically, this really is inspired by Meghan and the royal wedding, May 2018, but really is for you just full stop, because let's face it, if you're wearing makeup every day, whether it's your wedding makeup or whether it's your normal day makeup, then all of this still counts. I would love to know what you think of my little trip through organic makeup. I am not a makeup blogger. I love makeup and I professionally teach makeup, and I've done lots of professional makeup, but I am not about to launch into doing makeup videos. There are easily way enough of those to go around. And if you do like to see makeup going on, then I would highly recommend following the Glow Getter. She is a friend, a colleague, someone I've known for a long time in the green industry. She's based out of New Zealand, and she will do that bit. So she will not only be using and giving you all the advice of makeup, she will actually be putting it on. I will not quite go into that because I can, but it's not my thing. I am better off as the educator, telling you what to be looking out for, what's going to work, what's not going to work, and how to get the amazing skin base to go with the makeup. Because really, as we said earlier, truthfully, I would listen to all the skin videos and I'd try and get your skin to be as good as possible before you go start putting makeup on it. And when you do wear makeup, to cleanse it off really well. Remembering balm cleansers will rip through your foundations and base and SPF quicker than anything else. And if you've worn a lot of makeup, so Megan after her wedding day, a double cleanse. If you've got a good full face of makeup on, then you need 2 cleansers. Ideally a balm cleanser first to break through the oils of the makeup, and then your cream cleanser. Preferably very good, high quality plant seed, organic based ones Kirstie would request, because good skin leads to good makeup. Let me know how I can help. Please give the video a thumbs up. Share with anyone who you know who is interested in makeup and greening their skincare and makeup life. And I hope this is a bit of a help and that you enjoy the wedding.